why are you embarrassing yourself like this? I mean, honestly, you've been a senator before. This is the reason why everybody keeps talking about how we are failing devolution. All right. And what baffles many of us is that the same information that Professor has read is all that you needed to respond to. We are not accusatory. We are just looking at what you presented to us. And that tells me, when I look at you and your CECs, you've never sat with the Auditor General's team in the management meetings when it's entry and when it's exit. Either you think this committee is a bunch of fools, or you think nobody's going to ask you these questions. Boss, you know you are educated, even as we are. Can you imagine how you're embarrassing me and your friend? I'm your friend. I really respect you.
What I know about Kang'Ata is he likes to be the master of low expectations. And that was the style of Bush. Everyone thought he was uneducated, he could not rule. Yes. So he likes to thrive in that realm where you think that he does not know what he's doing, but he knows what he's doing. And that's why we are not letting him go easily on this. Senator Mariam Omar.
Chair, I need clarification from auditors. Do you receive the same document we have here?
Thank you, Chair. We received the same documents, but we say that the way it was presented, it is not easy to be able to determine how they have accounted for the line items of expenditure which was in question. So, and that is why we had to labor a lot to try to analyze documents.
Okay, as the relevance supporting document you require, do you need an Excel sheet or a sort of payment sheet, payments vouchers or whatever? Because here in the file, there is also only Excel sheet.
Thank you. Through the Chair, we received the documents, the vouchers. What the governor have said, they were coming to around 900, but now you see those vouchers, they are not itemized and categorized as per the query. So what we had to do now is to do ourselves, which is not supposed to be the case. They are supposed to just give us how they have accounted, and we verify that this line, this amount for this payment voucher is this, and then we can be able to now sum up what they have been able to account per line item.
Though the 600 is talking about for the supporting, so the vouchers you receive, the 600, the 6 million, 600 million.
Sorry, through the Chair, when we verify the, so far what we have done, which is 57%, we have also we are raising issues because we noted there were inadequate supporting documents, because when you talk of supporting documents, the voucher is supposed to be self-explanatory. That it has to have the approvals, it has to have, it is a procurement, it has the procurement decision, all what is entailed to be a complete payment voucher. So the 57% we have already been able to verify. We have had issues of lack of adequate supporting documents. We have also had issues of misclassification of these items. And also, some items there is lack of prudent use of public resources. So those are some of the examples we can be able to identify as based on whatever we have verified from the documents submitted to us.
Yeah, even if it was misclassification, if it's misclassification, the net effect should be zero at the bottom, because you'll find subsidies accounted for under grants and hospitality accounted for under trading. So the net should be zero. But when you still have a net difference of 600 million, then it tells you that people were trying to balance the books without having actual expenditure.
Chair, I'm asking this because of because when I see in our file, since inception of devolution, 8 advance disclaimers. There is only 2 qualified reports. That show there is some incompetency somewhere of the staffs. And Chair, I don't think the governor is ready to face us, because this thing, when we see there is because he has a technical team of accountants. If you talk of relevant documents for the payments, there must be a person who knows what to be supported with. So, Chair, as you direct, maybe this expenditure is expenditure of 2021. So we have to take direction on what to do.
Senator Methu?
I don't know why.
Senator Cheraki?
I don't know why Senator Pokisi wants to take...
proceed, Senator Methu.
I was going maybe to ask a question to help you. The question was, what did the OAG mean when they said there is misclassification of documents and payments? I thought that would be helpful too.
Well, on a certain good day, Honorable Chair, I was stopped from addressing this House because you cannot speak on the same matter twice. But
no, that one required a vote. This one does not require a vote.
and today is a very, very good day, as Senator Cheraki mentioned, because it's a day of prayers, of spiritual nourishment. Yes. And even better that today the bench that is before us, as Senator Mutata mentioned, is a bench of very learned fellas. We have a doctor on the right, we have a professor on the left, and a farmer on this side. But now the ridicule, Honorable Chair, is that ordinarily it would be expected that mediocrity will come from this side because it's where farmers are. But the opposite is now happening right on our face. But now, I want to just ask this one question through you, Chair, so that if it is not relevant to this particular proceeding, then you'd rule it out. I want to know, for this 640 million that has not been substantiated, or there are no documents that have been provided in regards to the 640 million, does it form part of the matter that is in court or the matter that was being investigated by EACC that has put your predecessor in a not very, very, very comfortable life of late? I want to know whether this forms part of what is under investigation or was under investigation, or the ones that have led to the charges that have been preferred on the former governor of Murang'a, who is a co-principal in the Azimio coalition.
I think he was the CEO during the time under review and not a co-principal of any coalition. While we were doing our brief, the EACC gave us a report on what they're pursuing, and without getting into details so that we do not jeopardize ongoing investigations, I think EACC indicated that this is the core of the investigations. EACC, maybe I allow you to make that communication on your own without necessarily getting into the details.
Yes, Chair. As I had indicated earlier, the investigations that are being conducted by EACC, a majority of them are dealing with unsupported expenditure or payments that have been made without supporting documents, Chair.
So in that case, then my question would have been, Chair, whether you then guide that since this matter is under investigation, the clients appearing before us, they have washed their hands, and I'm sure this is the only evidence that they have. So we would only need to pronounce ourselves. I agree with you. What the good executive from Murang'a would have said, this is the only thing that we have. The rest, we allow the road to take its natural course because there are people who are culpable. Instead of maybe spending too much time, Honorable Chair, on a matter that already has gone to the next level, we would want to just leave it at that. Reprimand the executive for not giving us a very good response, and then we are able to address and deal with the other matters.
Chair, maybe I can, there is a lot of semantics and everything. Governor, are you trying to fix the former governor of Murang'a, His Excellency Governor Mwangi Wairia?
Governor?
By doing nothing about anything. Are you trying to fix him?
Thank you, Chair. We are merely complying with the directions of this committee and also wanting to assist the Office of the Auditor General. Reason being, when we came here, we were directed to supply this set of documents. For the first time, they were never supplied to the auditor, they were never supplied to the Senate, and we did as commanded by this honorable committee. We supplied 900 documents, 57% was able to be confirmed. We can't vote for the rest, and as correctly advised by Senator Nyandaro, Senator Medu, that is now going forward an issue that this committee can make recommendations, because that is very competent as per what we are directed by the committee. As to what my brother Senator from Kisii has said,
of order, Chair, the governor is trying to be clever and smart. I've just asked a direct question. Are you trying to fix your predecessor? Let me not mention them so that you are comfortable.
no, we are not, thank you, Chair, for that question. We are not trying to fix anyone.
Yes.
We are just trying to comply with the orders of
Not
this honorable
anyone,
committee.
your predecessor.
No, we are not fixing anyone.
No, not anyone, him.
We are not fixing my predecessor.
Okay, thank you.
Or anyone.
But Governor, if you think through it,
Yeah.
that the chief officer and the director of accounting
What?
who prepared these financial statements, guys who are in your team.
Yes.
So what is that telling us? Because if you had a completely different set of people, like the professor there, then you would say that maybe the guys who were there could have concealed records of expenditure. But you have the same people who prepared the financial statements, who approved payments. How can you then not possibly support this expenditure and continue to retain those persons in the key positions? Let us help us understand that.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, we have made changes in that office. We have made a lot of changes. Number one, we have the director who is currently serving, who is on me on my right hand, was promoted just the other day. Secondly, Chair, we also want to indicate one of the problems Murang'a was having those years was lack of an internal audit committee. We now have
Point of order, Chair, on relevance. The witness has refused to answer your question. He is giving a different version of the question you didn't ask. Is it in order? Can you direct the witness to answer the question? Because your question was simple. These people are the ones who generated adverse opinion. And that is why from the onset I asked, what have you done? I would have expected you, Governor, to say you have surcharged them or you have taken administrative action, but the best you have done is to award them by giving them positions will still affect the outcome of any other audit, even during your tenure.
Maybe, Chair, if you just allow me to do a rider on whatever question we are dealing with your permission, I would also want to know whether the gentlemen who prepared this or who dealt with this particular audit, are they also under investigation, or is it just the governor who has been singled out?
Which governor?
Oh yeah,
Be specific, which governor?
Honorable Chair, we are getting directions from many places, but the governor that I meant in this case was former Governor Mwangi Wairia.
I think that question should be to EACC because they're the investigators.
Just so that we get to understand whether they are also under investigation.
And Patricia, you may respond to the extent that we do not prejudice the ongoing investigations.
It's just a question of yes or no whether they are under investigation. If they are under investigation, we just leave that matter so that the law will take its natural course.
Chair, if the Senator could come again on which specific issues he's asking about, specifically the former governor.
No, beyond the former governor, the other officers who prepared or who are in this particular, who dealt with this particular audit or these particular financial statements that we are dealing with, are they also under investigation? That is a director who is still there, and I think Kimoyo and Kahora, are they also under investigation? Or maybe, Governor, if you're in the know, you could help us.
Yeah, To the best of our knowledge, everyone who was involved that time is under investigation, to the best of our knowledge, but subject to...
So in that case then, Chair, if they are under investigation, why don't we just let the matter
We
rest?
cannot take the governor's response. It's the investigator who should advise us.
Yeah, we need to be careful. You know, governor also can form an committee to investigate his own officers. So we need to know which one does he refer to. His own investigation as through the county secretary disciplinary committee or EACC.
And Senator Methu, yours is not an idle question, because it would give rise to the other question that if the chief officer, finance, director of accounting are under investigation, should they continue managing financial records within the entity?
I mean, that was the next question that I was to go to. And I don't know why, Honorable Chair, you and the Vice Chair, who have spent more time with the Governor Kang'Ata, are treating him with a lot of suspicion. I mean, but I withdraw, I actually withdraw and apologize. I want to know
Senator Methu, for your information, there's a reggae song that Senator Kang'Ata and I know that says, "Who feels it knows it."
All right,
let's proceed.
Those of you who feel it, you know it. I just want to know from then the investigator whether Mr. Kamuyu and Mr. Kahoro are under investigation. Just a confirmation as to what the governor has said.
During investigation processes, I think the entire chain that is involved in payment are considered part of the investigation process. But in order to effectively respond on the names that are specifically mentioned, maybe I can respond after some time.
I think that's fair.
Then my second question then would be to you, Governor. If to the best of your knowledge, because you said to the best of your knowledge you know that they are under investigation, why do you still think that they are very, very important and they have to still remain within your administration? And I mean, Murang'a is known to have the best brains around.
And billionaires.
Why would you still feel that they are the people that must continue pushing the agenda of Murang'a ahead?
Senator Methu, that is a question I've asked repeatedly. You have just asked it with compassion. And the governor has not responded so far. Maybe he might respond to your compassionate question.
Thank you, Chair. If we will definitely consider taking remedial actions pursuant to the direction of this honorable committee. Our view was we wanted they help us to answer and retrieve these documents. We held the view that to the extent at least 57% of the documents were retrieved. I think that is progress, you see. So that was our thinking, that at times it helps a person with institutional memory to help you retrieve whatever documents is required. But we want to assure that we are always cooperating with the Office of the Auditor General. We believe this audit, they do a very important job. We provide with them whatever documents they want. We also adhere to the directions of this honorable committee, and that's why we wrote a letter to the Office of the Director General in Nyeri. We provided 900 documents, notwithstanding. That was not our error. It was somebody else's error who is under investigation. But despite that, we were able to retrieve all those documents.
Point of order, Chair. I think the governor is very, very economical with the truth. You would not say that it was somebody's error, somebody else's error, or the person seated right to your right is one of those that are under investigation. It's only one person who has left, the governor. But the other team, the whole team are still with you. But I want them to get, I think Governor Kang'Ata is a poet. He will answer 1% of the question and then bring in other issues. I want the first part of your response.
So are you going to withdraw the aspersions you are casting on the part of the chair and the vice chair initially?
Well, not yet. Governor Kang'Ata is our neighbor, so we are not yet there. I wanted to then get it from the governor. Do you then hold the position that you kept them so that they help you with the provision of these documents? Soon after they have provided the documents, as Professor has mentioned, and there are no more other documents that they can provide, then you relieve them of their duties. Is that the position that you choose to take?
Thank you, Chair. We look into it based on the evidence that will be before us. Thank you, Chair.
Senator Methu?
Chair, on a point of as a procedure.
Now, I think let's Senator Cheraki.
You know, the law says that when the auditor has presented, the parliament shall consider. From the response of the governor, are we really making any progress? Because it looks like we are gerrymandering and going into another conundrum that does not in any way give us a way out. Because if we are in question one, we have spent more than 1 hour trying to get the information from governor, which he should have done it within 2 minutes by saying, if he could not give supporting documents to answer this question, he should have just indicated and also indicated that some of this matter are under investigation so that we move to another audit query. Chair.
The conclusion that we must arrive at is that 600 million Kenya shillings was stolen in Murang'a, because you have given the governor for Murang'a 3 chances, 3 opportunities to justify the unsupported expenditure. The first opportunity, supporting documentations were not provided to the Auditor General. The second opportunity, we had the same scenario and we deferred the meeting. This is a third opportunity, and the governor says that what he can support still leaves a gap of 600 million Kenya shillings. If that is a position of the governor, the position is taken under oath, we have no other alternative but to ask the EACC to carry out an investigation in Murang'a County. The EACC has told us of the active matters that are before them. Some of them relate to legal fees of 10 million, others per diems, others payments of 790,000, but nothing close to the 600 million that is in focus right now. We must therefore ask the EACC to move in to carry out a proper, thorough, broad investigation. We would expect that the officers who were custodians of records during that period, who have still been retained by Governor Kang'Ata, they are either accomplices stealing together, or the governor has abdicated his duty to ensure that public resources are managed in a way that is consistent with the Constitution. And the committee and the Senate cannot fire a county official. That is the responsibility of the county assembly. That is the responsibility of the CEO. The Senate can only make recommendations for investigation and relevant sanctions to follow. Governor, this is the 3rd time we have put it to you that you are carrying along persons responsible for the gravest abuse of financial resources in Murang'a, as evidenced by the report of the Auditor General. You inherited a skunk, and you have decided to carry the skunk, and you are going to bear the stench. So now that we have asked the EACC to carry out a thorough investigation and broaden it out, we expect that if prosecution is recommended on any of the officials, then they must not be allowed to be in office. Of course, Senator Mtata, you will need to refresh our memory on the Justice, was it Ngugi? Was it Justice Ngugi ruling that required persons under investigation to step aside? Yeah. Whether that has been quashed, whether it has been varied, but the minute the EACC commences investigation, and with these persons who signed these financial statements as the subjects of interest, we do not expect them to be the ones to continue superintending over the financial affairs of Murang'a County Executive. Honorable members, as we had ruled in the very first and second meetings that we had, is that if this 600 million is not supported, initially it was 1.4 billion. It has now reduced to 600 million, which is still a lot of money. Going through the rest of the questions on unsupported expenditure will be academic, because everything else derives from the expenditure that has been reported in the financial statements, be it compensation of employees, there's a relationship between that and social security benefits. Be it expenditure on development, there's a relationship between that and rehabilitation of civil works. You remember at the last meeting, we asked why 1 billion Kenya shillings was being expensed as other payments. And to date, we still do not have an answer. We still have hundreds of millions that is unsupported. Now, members, we should then take a decision at this point that we agree with the report of the Auditor General, and we take note of the attempt by the executive to support the expenditure, but we also take note that 600 million remains unsupported, and therefore our resolution is for investigations to be done, because there's nothing we can do as a Senate sitting here. We are actually assuming that the 700 million that has been supported, that the records are authentic. That's the assumption we are making, because we don't know whether they're authentic. And so EACC, it's not just about the gap of 600 million. It's also about the authenticity of what has been presented. Correct. Are there forgeries? Has there been cooking of records to close the gap? That the Senate cannot do. That can only be done by a specialized agency. So members, in my view, it is not just the 600 million that is unsupported, which you can only conclude, Senator Onyonka, that imeibiwa ama imekulwa.
Iya imeguliwa.
So you can only conclude that imekulwa, but there's the other 700 million which could not be supported at the time of audit, could not have been supported at our first meeting, could not have been supported at our second meeting, and is now purportedly supported by the same people who prepared the financial statements, who signed the payment vouchers. Those are the same people we are relying on today to provide evidence of proper expenditure. I think we are wasting the time of the Senate. And Governor, if you had presented to us a fresh team, we would give you the benefit of doubt. And we'll say that Governor Kang'Ata is committed to correcting the wrongs of the past. But when you come with us, when you come to us with the same skunks that delivered the adverse report, I am sorry, Dr. Governor Kang'Ata, that will not be the best use of the time of the Senate. Before I make a final declaration on how we are proceeding, let's hear from Senator Mtata.
And also, Chair, through you, this is a matter that the EACC should not investigate forever. The EACC exercises the criminal jurisdiction of the EACC is statutory, not constitutional. And being originating from Parliament, and EACC being all commissions being required to report to Parliament, and in this particular case, it's exercising a statutory mandate. It's not a constitutional mandate. And the Constitution, Article 79, is a code of conduct. The ASECA is where the EACC mainly draws the powers to carry out criminal investigations. So maybe